right, welcome everyone. I'm Daniel Rodriguez, and I'm here with Angel Rodriguez from the G League, the Austin Spurs, the University of Miami Hurricanes. Angel, it's great to have you.
Appreciate you having me, Daniel.
The first thing I wanted to ask you is how is everything during quarantine with you, your family?
Everything is good, obviously, everybody has to adjust to whatever it is that's going on with the COVID-19, but, overall it's been great to me. I've had a chance to spend a lot more time with my one-year-old son and my wife, which whenever we're in season, and for the most part, honestly, throughout my career, I never really get to spend an entire day or multiple days where I have obviously nowhere to go. So this was the first time it happened. It's been a blessing. I think our chemistry has been better as far as me and my son, and the same with my wife, because we can actually be parents together the entire day. So a lot of positives to take, man. It's obviously a lot negative to say, but there's a lot of positives to it too.
Yeah, with all that traveling and G League and the NBA, it must be sometimes you don't really get the opportunity to see your families, but now it's a blessing. You can also see your families with this time, spend more time with them, unlike if we were just traveling all the time across the country.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to ask, with the big thing happening with COVID, how did you learn the G League was suspended along with the NBA?
So obviously, the NBA they definitely stay on top of everything, and there were a lot of meetings going on, almost on a daily basis. So we would get updates every day on how things are going and all that. So the NBA was basically preparing the staff, preparing the players, preparing everybody for the worst case scenario, which is actually what ended up happening. But I mean, my personal story, I was actually in LA. We were gonna play the Lakers, and we had a meeting with the coaches. I remember that day a game in San Francisco, like all sporting events got canceled.
Yeah.
And we had a back-to-back. We were in LA, and then the following day we were supposed to go and play the Santa Cruz Warriors. So the fact that everything got canceled over there because things were getting pretty bad in California at first.
We had
a meeting with the coaches, and we obviously expressed our concern, especially me. There was so much unknown, right? Back then there was not much evidence as far as like kids not really being at risk. And so the fact that I was a brand new parent, basically, I was concerned about my family. So I spoke with the coaches and all that, and whatever. They obviously were in touch with the league and so on and so on. But bottom line is that day we were actually in the locker room getting prepared to play. And so everybody's, whoever was on the phone, actually saw the Rudy Gobert situation that tested positive. And so everybody in the locker room was like, all right, we're not going to play tonight. Like, it's over, whatever. Everybody kind of mentality just said, all right, this is it. But we actually ended up playing the game. And then after the game was over, the league was in touch again with the coaches and everybody in the front office, and the following day they basically just said, we think the season is gonna get canceled, but it hasn't been official, so hang in there, whatever. But we knew it was over, and then after that everything just went downhill, not just for basketball, but sports in general and the country and just everything.
Yeah, because that whole week was crazy. They had Rudy Gobert, and then almost instantly they canceled or suspended the season. And a couple of days ago, they also suspended March Madness. So it was just a crazy, hectic week, just across all of sports.
Yeah, for sure. It was actually very overwhelming. Like, I mean, obviously nobody, at least my generation, has really lived through a time like this where, like, I mean, March Madness is getting canceled. The NBA, Disney's closing and it was wild. It was a bit overwhelming. I mean, I used to barely watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of read more, but I mean, I was tuned in on TV every day, trying to figure it out. How can I be safe? How to adjust, and it was definitely very, very different. But I'm more at ease now. Obviously, we know a lot more. So
Yeah, and now they're talking about reopening it. I heard something about how I think LeBron got a whole bunch of players together. They want to reopen the season for the NBA and the G League. Have they ever talked to you about, okay, in a couple weeks or a couple months, we're going to have everything back to normal, or is that not discussed?
no, I think at this point the NBA is actually just focused on the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the G League is obviously somewhat attached to the NBA, but what really brings the money is LeBron and the big dogs, right?
Yeah.
So they're more focused on that. The G League is really just over until next season, whenever it is that it starts. So right now, the real topic is the NBA, and I mean, I hope that they find a way to do it as long as it's safe. Obviously, even if it's with no fans, which would be the only case. But I think we all need some sports in our lives, and I mean, why not, right? This is a crazy time, so it's only right that you make crazy decisions as far as like not playing with fans. That's very awkward, very weird. Never imagined that before, but if it's safe, I hope they do it.
Okay. Well, I want to go back a little bit to your college years now. I want to talk about first Kansas State and the experience of playing like in the Big 12. And you also had a whole bunch of other NBA talent, and you ended up winning a Big 12 title. How was that whole experience like with the Wildcats?
I mean, obviously, it was amazing to be on a winning culture.
Yeah.
The entire year, we had a target in our back. We're top 10 in the country. Had a lot of success, obviously, both as a team and as an individual. But it's a grind, Like, people need to know that it's whatever you see on TV. That's not even like half of what the reality of it is. Like there's a lot of hard work that goes on, a lot of sacrificing. You miss a lot of birthdays with family members that you probably love so much, or you might not be able to spend Christmas and all that. A lot of early mornings, and just like in a sucky weather. At least for me, I'm from Puerto Rico, and then Miami's home, so we're used to the sunshine. And every day is gloomy there and snowing, and it's a lot of things that could be challenging, but
it's a culture shock.
Very, very much like so. But whenever you have a passion for something, whenever you have a dream, whenever you're really hungry to accomplish something, you're willing to just fight through everything, right? So, and at the end of the day, I'm always thinking positive. So all those things that were challenging just made me a better person, made me appreciate a lot more Miami, the sun, just in general. But as far as basketball, it was amazing, man. Like, it was a dream come true. It was nothing less than I expected. Honestly, it was incredible.
Yeah, you guys won a share of the Big 12 title. You guys had a good run. And I want to also transition now to your time at UM. Like, what made you want to transfer from Kansas State here to Miami? Was it the coaches, the players?
No. It was actually tough for me because, again, we had an incredible season. The bond that I developed with the players there was amazing. And to this day, we still have the same chat. So we stay in touch. Yeah. Like those guys are my brothers. So it wasn't easy, right? But I mean, I really the culture shock was just so crazy for me that I wanted to get close to home. It was hard for my family, my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend, like to just go there. Like the traveling, the prices, and all that. The tickets were a little too much for me at the time, and it was just a matter of, do you want to be basically playing at a high level and stay with the team that you've had success with, or do you want to transfer to a high level school and just do it all over again? Take a gamble, but be close to your family, right? Have your mom, your girl, your brothers, grandparents at the games a little bit more often. And so, and on top of that, the fact that year that I transferred, Shane Larkin, Durant Scott, and all those guys had the team rocking, had the city rocking.
Number one in the country.
Coach L, it was incredible. And I used to always watch Coach L.
Oh, yeah. And what he did at George Mason, Final Four.
No, and in the interviews, post-game interviews, how he used to talk about his players, it was just like, I don't know, he gave me a very, very positive vibe, and I decided to visit, and that's it. It was a done deal.
All right, and going into the season, it started off amazing for UM. You ended up winning the Puerto Rico tip-off in your home country, Puerto Rico beating the likes of Utah, Butler, who were all ranked. What did that mean, winning just the tip-off going into that season?
I think the work started my junior year. We had an up and down season. We beat great teams like Duke at Duke, but then we would lose to teams that, I can't even remember who was on that team. No disrespect to anybody. You know what I mean? So it's just very, very inconsistent, and that's the kind of team we had. But we also knew that for the following year, that was gonna help us be more consistent, not take any games for granted, and just have a chip on our shoulder. And so, like you said, we started the season on fire, and we really never looked back. We really knew how hard it was gonna be to accomplish special things. Mm-hmm. But everybody was on the same page. We had a lot of vets, good leaders, and just overall great chemistry. So it was very fun. That was one of the funnest things I've ever done as a player that season right there.
And the roster was just full of guys who ended up playing professional, whether it's the G League, the NBA, or in Europe. You had yourself, you had Sheldon Mack, Anthony Lawrence, Jakiri. Yeah. It was just a full roster, and everything just came together that year.
Yeah. No, that team is definitely one of my favorite teams of all time, man.
Yeah, you guys were ranked as high as number 8, but your best game with UM came that year in the round of 32 against Wichita State when you went off for 28 points. That must have been like a dream. Okay, I'm about to score 30 in March Madness.
I think I was just I really wanted to, first of all, beat Wichita State, right? We were a high seed team, but they were the favorite somehow. Yeah. Obviously they earned their respect by doing it on previous years and going to the Final Four and all that. But again, we felt like we had a chip on our shoulder. We have something to prove. And for me personally, it was obviously I was playing against a very good player, Fred VanVleet. So it was a good challenge. But I'm always confident in myself, and it was really more about winning and just on top of that, just outplaying my opponent, and I was able to accomplish both.
Yeah, Wichita State that year, it was a very tough win. They had Fred VanVleet, Ron Baker, all these guys would just go on. Fred VanVleet just won the NBA championship with the Raptors. There you are, scoring 28 on him.
Right.
After also, I want to talk about your relationship with Carlos Arroyo, who FIU great, retired number. I just want to talk about your relationship with him and him as the assistant coach for the Puerto Rican national team.
Yeah. Carlo was a mentor to me, I grew up really just wanting to be where he's at or accomplishing what he had, and just admiring his game. I think it was just so fun to watch him when I was growing up, and everything that he did for Puerto Rico, every time he put on the jersey was just incredible. So I never had a relationship with him at all. Obviously, I'm much younger than him, but now over the last couple of years, we've been able to develop a very, very good relationship. He's like a big brother in a way. You know, he's always looking out. He's always, you know, sending me videos or something to read, or just constantly trying to, I guess, challenge me and put things in my mind and just help me out. And I respect that a lot, and I appreciate that, because not a lot of guys that get to that level are willing to give back, right? And like whatever he's doing, he's going out of his way. You know, like he nobody's telling him to send this or trying to help or trying to mentor me or anything. He's doing it because I guess is what he wants to do. So to me, it means a lot, and I appreciate it for sure.
That's great. And also, you're also in the FIBA America Cup. I believe Carlos Arroyo was also an assistant coach. And then one of the games that you had was also another game where you went off. You scored 23 and you beat Brazil. That must have been something like kind of like a dream or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
like representing your country.
Around, you want to perform because, first of all, for me, I know he's gonna give me crap if I don't, or he's always gonna find a way to criticize something, like constructive criticism. You know what I mean? So you always want to bring your A game, and so I mean it's just another way to be inspired to perform at a high level, honestly.
Yeah, it must have been great with Carlos Arroyo there. And also, I want to talk about transitioning. How was the transition like going from college to the G League, and also all the competitors there, and trying just to fight your way into the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, I think completely different. In college, everybody is quote unquote brainwashed. Everybody's all in with the team. Everybody's trying to win, and it's just a lot easier when it's like that. When everybody's on the same page, and it's more fun. You develop obviously better relationships that way because you have one thing in mind and one thing only. Whenever you turn pro, right, guys are gonna have their own schedule too, and it's challenging sometimes because it's not always about winning for a lot of guys. For me, it's always been, and it's always gonna be the case. But it's, as a point guard, it's hard to deal with guys who are just thinking about numbers, or my agent is telling me I need to average this or shoot this many shots or do this. You know, your agent is not telling you to try to win games. Your agent is telling you to care about your numbers more. And that's just the reality of pro sports. Because if you don't put up numbers, you won't get paid. And I think sometimes it can be challenging because just, for me, it's really always been what I love about the competition part of it. You know, the numbers and all that comes with it, but I never played basketball because I want to have big numbers, or I would play tennis or individual sport. So for me, that I see the sport of basketball in that way it could be challenging, but again, there's that's not always the case, but for the most part, in a professional level, just know that guys are obviously going to look out for themselves more than just winning.
Yeah, for some of them, it's just about their numbers, and because you're the point guard, they're like, pass me the ball so I can go up and I can improve my points, and hopefully my agent tells me to score this many so I can get a shot. It's mostly like they only care about themselves in some aspects.
Yeah, for sure. And again, this sounds terrible.
No.
At the end of the day, guys compete, right? And they try to win games. I'm not saying they don't compete, they don't try to win games. But what I'm saying is that the priority is no longer winning and winning only. It's also, I need to play good. If I play good and we lose, I'm still somewhat happy it doesn't really matter as much if we lose if I play well.
Yeah.
But if I don't play, if I don't score 20 and we win, I'm a little mad because my agent's telling me this and that. You know, you have now other voices telling you what to do rather than just worrying about winning only.
Yeah. I also wanted to get your thoughts on recently the G League competing with the NCAA on getting these recruits and starting their own team in the G League with mainly just like 5-star recruits. What do you think about all that in the G League, basically just taking all these recruits from the NCAA?
I mean, I think at some point somebody had to do something to make sure that the NCAA takes care of athletes the way they should, right? I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going to have the argument of, no, they already get a scholarship and all that, and I really don't want to get into that. But the bottom line, the NCAA is more than capable of taking better care of student athletes, especially high-profile players that can make so much money. Like, why are you stopping the guy from doing that? You know what I mean? So, and I don't think, it really started with guys just skipping college and going to Europe. And so now the NBA is saying, wait, why are we losing these guys and having them in Europe for a year? How about we just have them here in the G League, right? They're not going to get drafted, but they can be in the G League, make a lot more money, and still get the exposure here while they're at home. Because at the end of the day, the players that go to Europe right out of or China right out of high school, they're going to come back the following year for the draft. So why not keep them here? And so I think it was just honestly a good thing. Obviously for coaches and recruiting and all that, it's going to obviously be a little more challenging, right? But I mean, as a former student athlete, I'm all for the student athletes being taken care of in a way that they deserve. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to get that kind of treatment because not everybody's at the same level. But I'm just happy that guys are going to be taken care of.
Yeah. Also, going back to the G League, you also, and teammates and everything that goes around there, you also won a G League championship with Rio Grande Vipers from the Houston Rockets. That must have been like an amazing accomplishment there, winning a championship with G League.
Yeah, for sure, man. Every time you win a championship, that's the ultimate goal, right? Like you spend the entire off season and the in season just wanting to win, and what a better way to say it was all of the hard work paid off than just winning a championship.
Yeah. Were there any teammates in the G League that you just found like a connection to, and you just felt like, all right, this is gonna be my teammate. He's also my friend. Was there any teammates like that in the G League?
Yeah, with that RGV Vipers team, it was a lot of guys like that, man. Like even to be honest, even with the Austin Spurs, like I've been lucky that in both organizations I was able to really just have a good relationship with everybody. Everybody was a very, very nice person.
Yeah.
Again, some players can be more about themselves as far as the stats, but that doesn't make them a bad person, or that doesn't make them a careless friend. You know what I mean? Like one thing has nothing to do with the other. Overall, like both teams, I still have a relationship with, I'll say everybody on the team, honestly, because one thing has nothing to do with the other. You know what I mean? It's just like boxing. These guys, they go in the ring, they hit each other so hard, and after the fight, they hug each other. Because it's a sport, right? Outside of the ring is a completely different world. Same thing with basketball. Outside of the court, to me, outside the court we're friends. Nothing is gonna get on the way if you're a good guy and I'm a good guy, and we have obviously a good relationship.
Well, Angel, I want to thank you for coming on and doing this interview with me. It's been great. I want to thank you, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
All
Wish you
right.
the best.
Thank you.